a good amount of loot, good amount of resources. And even the positioning allows them to look back, allows them to take those shots and do that damage needed. Even peeking up at the high ground. And Stompy, though, goes down. Junata now as well, incredibly low. Only 9 HP to work with. You could just blow onto this player and he would go down.
JJ2 and Aware maybe just might be the ones to steal high ground away. For Judo as a solo down below, 9 HP is not much to work with by any means, especially with 0 materials, and so he has to rely on his instinct, he has to rely on his aim.
H and MrSavage even more confident now as they've secured another elimination. Dropping down, though, might be considering the low ground here. High ground looked a little dangerous. The constant changes in elevation is increasing the danger for these players as Junata is still up. Just one little pebble would cause him to trip and fall here, but with 9 HP, he tries popping the bandage, goes down. Marco and Climbery do have the high ground.
He wanted to get out of their line of sight, but Marco switched up the angles and caught him out. Alder looking to catch people out below him, and it's actually Teak, the Polish person, that has to stay out of the way. Alder still, though, looking around. Deceptors down below on such low HP. He does have his teammate with him, but I don't know what DKS really can do for me. He needs to give him the med miss, needs to give him a mini and allow him to get back up.
He might just have thought, Deceptors, it's the end for you, my friend. I'm using this med miss to stay in zone. Alder takes down 1, Splash with 3 eliminations, Alder with 4. They are looking incredibly powerful here as Squeeze and Put Aside as well. 4 eliminations for the duo, 32 points, and they continue to rack them up.
The Frenchies are on the hunt. They are not giving up by any means. The same could be said here for H and MrSavage. Could this be their moment? They aren't going to be up on high, but they are looking towards the low. And if they get some space in the front side of the zone, the opportunities will arise. And so now it's about them instincts, it's about them aim, and it's about staying true. Marco and Climbery, they've had such an easy ride on height, but it's nothing but easy for these guys down below. With H hitting shots like that, they have a chance. They have the fighting stance, and Squeeze and Podesai will look to try and stop them.
So many duos still up, going strong. Squeeze takes a big shot, but connects onto him as well. He goes down now. Reason Noah Rayleigh goes straight into the action. Get a piece of that pie. Both eliminations for the duo as they continue to raid through this low ground, but up above, the shots are coming in. They have to be careful. MrSavage and H are the ones gonna take that opportunity to get those 2 eliminations. And now with just 4 duos alive, 6 players, it's getting more and more intense.
H and MrSavage are feeling it. Noah Rayleigh cannot handle it. Climbery and Marco still up. 6 eliminations for this team. They've gotten some mats to refresh them as well. They can continue to sit here on high.
MrSavage, 4 eliminations. He still has H. This is one of the duos that's up right now. They have the resources. They're looking healthy. This could be their match, their golden ticket to the finals. The duo that takes this victory royale will be going to the finals.
PKR is so essential in this fight. Who will he be a blessing for? Will he be the curse for H and MrSavage, or will he be kind to them? He falls to the zone, but these 2 are now stuck down below. The zone is moving up over hill, and Climbery and Marco need to realize the opportunity to crush them down below. Everything was looking possible for H and MrSavage, but their dreams are slowly being shattered in front of their eyes. Unless they can connect to something marvelous here, Marco, Climbery, they just need to stay composed.
The shots come in, Climbery connects, but it's not enough. Both players are still up. H goes down, the 1 versus 1. MrSavage up against Marco, using the grapple glove to gain a positional advantage, but it's not enough as Marco connects the last shot.
Just 1 player, MrSavage, all alone, having to clutch up.
The high ground has been retaken as well. Getting ahead has been the dominance here to claim the up above the high ground. The sky is now Destru and 185 in the mid ground, trying to decide what they want to do. They do have those grapple gloves, so they don't want to go too low, but JJ2 continuing it out, and where it did go down previously, and now the rotate comes in, doing a great job so far, staying up as a solo, making use of those charges, and now he has that opportunity to look back and do a bit of damage.
And PKR are in a situation that is just very, very difficult to play, and they need to find something in fast. And it seems like they have their eyes on something. They've been able to sniff out a bit of some weak players. Cosmo and Till will be the other ones on the side of that armored wall, but they're trying to defend for themselves. But Teak won't take no for an answer, but maybe will be forced to, as PKR now is playing as a solo. Teak gets snuffed out.
PKR now also in a similar situation as the danger comes in. 121 wood to work with, only 8 builds though. He has to find an opening, he has to find a way to recuperate those materials as Squeeze has lost Put Aside, has those 2 eliminations, but only 1 more use of his grapple glove. Takes the shot, takes down 1, but is it too risky to go for that loot? He has to make the decision quickly. He does not have a lot of time to work with, but PKR does. As he takes down 1, he has the med miss, and he has to continue his way to zone.
PKR was able to get revenge onto Till, and he'll get 1 onto Wox as well. He is fighting for his life right now, and he's fighting hard. Stompy doing the same thing, but as a solo with one build, he needs to connect big. Tuan and Kai still up on height. They need to start going down though. With just wood, it's going to be very, very hard to hold it. The grapple glove will come in clutch, allows them to get to the front side, but there's players contesting for it as well.
And they're keeping it. They stay ahead. They keep building up, but now the build can't come in as he's lost his materials, but with that elimination, brings them right back up now with 25 builds as we look back below. Good here. Has to be careful. There's a lot of opponents close by. Hits the shot, though. Both now. Resin going down. Noah being the only one up here down below. The 1 versus 1 has to come in as the high ground is still being battled.
Noah trying to play in the zone, but it's not looking good at all. Gets shot and has to build in. And with not many materials left, it's all a matter of timing for him. Continually now, just crack down, no shields, no HP left. He's back to the lobby. Destru is still alive as a solo. Cosmo finally taken out. Destru picking one up though. That's his third of the game. And he's looking up to height. And they know what they need to do. It's a 1v1. Tuan against Destru down below.
6 eliminations for Tuan, looking to make it 7. He has that positional advantage, but he needs to finish it off with the elimination. The zone keeps closing. Destru has 12 builds. He can stay up a bit, has 3 floppers as well, but it's all about the Victory Royale. It's getting that ticket to the finals, and both players now continuing to rotate. The zone pulling up the hill, giving that bit of advantage to Tuan, and now it's only 2 materials to work with. He does have the upper edge up above, but with not any materials to work with, it could force this engagement, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
They're both playing in the zone right now. They realize they need to use the builds that are available for them, and eventually looking for the trade. Tuan will run back into zone, but as he turns his back, he gets destroyed by Destru, who rolls through. And
looking dangerous for the players down below that are looking to contest it. Zone pulls towards the beach. The party's going to begin.
The key is nobody is actually looking to contest it. They're just holding on to it free. Aware, JJ2, they're looking for somebody on their layer that they can clean up, get a refresh on, looking for a bit of piece control, but they're going to have to keep it moving, keep it stepping. Reason, playing as a solo, doesn't have no Riley with him. He needs to now keep it moving, but he spots some people out. Mixon doesn't have R20 now. He doesn't even have any HP. DKS, the Deceptors will be the ones to deal with them. They have to keep it moving now as well, but he falls into a box. That isn't him, but he will connect with a big shot to recover. DKS eventually falls, but how much damage was he able to do? Oh well, Deceptors now having to play all alone. Can he keep on moving and continue his job's work?
JJ2, 1 elimination, taking shots, has 6 or 7 charges on the grapple glove. A lot of opportunity for mobility, and Deceptors connecting a massive 157, but it's not enough to get both eliminations. He goes down. Stormy right up ahead of the zone alongside Default. They take shots behind those players that are rotating in late. They are using that to their advantage.
They are claiming the low ground, but they need to be more aware because there are other players moving in on them. Savage trying to move in on Floki and Comment. He gets Floki, but H has lost himself. Hen, I should say now, has gone down, and so MrSavage having to play as a solo once again in this competition. Reason as well now, still on the mid ground, doesn't have an option yet in terms of height or low, and so he's just going to wait things out. JJ2 in a very similar situation. There's so many solos around.
And they have to make it happen here. Reason in the first place spot, MrSavage in the second place spot, both playing as solos. 1 elimination on the board, make that 2 as he takes down Hero, using that harpoon to fish up the loot, and now Reason going down below. He wants the low ground, but it's a dangerous position to be in, but he hits the 180 shot, connecting, getting the elimination. JJ2 now with 2, looking to do the same.
JJ2 keeps on rolling through, but with no more hard materials, just the wood. He's at the mercy of the hype team. For Strokey and Kylie begin to focus him as they become aware. Savage doesn't have any materials, so he's just going to sit in this box and wait for the opportunity to come. But for Kylie and for Strokey, you have to wonder if they realize the opportunity they have on their hands. Nobody really looks powerful enough to really stop them. For Crown and K-Nox down below, seemingly the only duo left, they might be the only ones that can pose a threat.
They look for options, but it's danger all around. MrSavage from behind hits a big shot. It's not enough for the knock, though, and now MrSavage is forced to take a risky engagement, mantling around, sprinting, tries to survive as he goes down. Now Reason still with 2 eliminations on the board. The 1 versus 2 below. The duo still up on the high ground. Canox getting cracked. His duo partner going down. Now the 1 versus 1, but he connects the shot. Goes down. Strokey and Kylie now are able to secure the Victory Royale.
Wait.
Aware here. 2 eliminations on the board. JJ2 not with any, but they're looking to get that number up as default now continues. He has the grapple glove. Still 4 charges to work with. A lot of opportunity here, but the problem, the issue, the materials. Only 3 builds left for Joe here. 2 getting shortly down to 1. Joe needs to find an elimination.
But the problem with the wood is that people know he's weakened, so they will force and chase him down and out of the lobby. Joe could not handle the pressure.
Aware though, looks like he can. He has the builds, he has the loot. Now finding more down below as the high ground is being dominated. Not a single person below. Looking above as X-Squeeze and Protosi continue to stay ahead of the zone. That's the advantage you get with the grapple glove. Now they have that opportunity to look behind, look to see if the players that have not had a good rotate like Default and Stormy here with only 7 builds who have to play it slower. But Aware secures another elimination. This duo is popping off.
Aware and JJ2, they're looking set up nice, and they're going to keep it moving. As soon as the zone starts to move, they are on the hunt to stay ahead. For Grapple Enjoyer, for Kovacs and Drox, a lot of them looking to maybe replicate the same things, but without the necessary means. A really nice find there from Kovacs to look for some loot. But up above on high ground, the battle is breaking out again. Ark and Zeka can't really hold on to it. You can see they are trying to stay up, but it's Shizo and Force that is taking it from them.
This is another duo that's down on the leaderboard in the 28th spot, or the 20th spot, sorry. They want this victory royale. They need it as Force now uses those reinforced walls, continues to build up, but there are players on the second high. They want the high ground as Aware has lost his duo partner. JJ2 goes down. He picks up the grapple glove though. 9 charges still, 20 HP to work with. That is just 2 ticks to Storm.
He just needs to play his materials. He has enough to keep him ticking in the meantime. But for other players who maybe don't have that same fortune, Kovacs, what is he going to be able to connect to? Just staying ahead of the zone, waiting for it to catch up. And his hope is that players will begin to fall in. That is happening. Default will goes down. Typo, Grapple Enjoyer maybe going to follow if they run into Protosi and Squeeze, who have looked so strong so far this endgame, but without the materials necessary, the time is ticking for this team.
It's time to look for opportunities, for angles, for shots as Grapple Enjoyer enjoys piecing up his opponents as he also gets Andrea there, but he just escapes as now the edits come in, the peaks come in. X-Squeeze now looking to get a bit aggressive. He needs that refresh. Both players need it, and they're going for it now as they drop below. It's against Grapple Lover. 108, it's not enough to knock him down. Now it's all up to Protosi, playing as a solo, has 3 eliminations, gets 1 shot, but it's not enough.
Big shot for Protosi, but it didn't come through. Force and Shizo are finally starting to drop because their mats are running thin, but they don't care. They realize now the opportunity ahead of them. For Grapple Enjoyer and Typo, they have loot available in the Storm, but it isn't going to be much. Realistically, it's just going to be the Siphon mats, and so a war of attrition between the 2 teams, both running on empty it seems, and so somebody has to connect with a big shot.
Shizo Force, they have the positional advantage, they have the HP advantage, and now connecting those shots. Typo and Grapple Enjoyer are in an incredibly dangerous situation as Shizo finishes it off and secures that victory royale. Stuck inside of these builds down below, you just don't have the opportunity to use them, but for DKS and Deceptors, they're already ahead of zone. All they have to do is look back, take shots. They have the SMG, they have the ammunition, but they want that spare amount of loot, using those grapple gloves to fish up loot, just like Joe and Ziandi up above that have already picked up 2 eliminations we saw on the feed, but now MrSavage, Hen, they might be looking for that high ground.
MrSavage and Hen are on the second high, and I don't believe Ziandi and Joe were able to see. They have now spotted it out as they've moved out of the line of sight. But Hen and MrSavage now, very much a threat to their chances of getting the victory royale. X-Squeeze doesn't have Protosi anymore, but he does have another elimination to show off. Kovacs is the one that gets taken out, and maybe he's going to look to add Drox to that candle as well, but he can't. Has to stay in the zone, gets to finish, and the Siphon will keep him alive.
4 on the board for Squeeze, but he goes down. Back to the board is now DKS and Deceptors continue their wrath. They have the loot, they have the elims, but they need those materials. Only 13 builds to work with as they continue to walk through their opponent's parts, reusing what has already been built. A great strategy to stay up.
No, Riley and Reason aren't working with much materials, but we know what they can do with shotguns in their hands. It doesn't take much for them to stay in the game.
Right now, you can see MrSavage have not retaken the high ground yet, as Teak, as a solo, has no materials to work with. Only 1 mini, but Aware and JJ2 from popping off in the last match, looking to do something similar here. 2 uses on the grapple gloves, but a strong duo we've been seeing throughout this whole end game. DKS, Deceptors, they are looking for an angle, looking for an opportunity as high ground is still dominated by Joe and Ziandi.
Aware and JJ2 down below, trying to find onto Hen and Savage, and that's exactly what it looks like they're gonna do. But MrSavage has something to say about it. He has constantly had something to say all throughout today, putting a full stop on teams trying to take him out. And so again, another game with MrSavage as a solo, trying to do everything he can to hold on to first.
But MrSavage, he's comfortable as a solo, makes his way into zone, only 12 HP to work with, attempts to pop a mini, not sure if he's gonna get it off as DKS has just lost Deceptors, another solo playing it out, Noah with an elimination, Savage goes down, and Andy and Joe, it's looking brighter and brighter.
They keep on to height. The mats are going to start to run low, but that could be the same for everybody down below them. Fury and Toos might be a bit of a threat, and Ricky and Sadie in the front of the zone might end up catching DKS out, but he is doing everything he can to stay alive, but that's not going to be satisfying enough for Toos. He wanted that elimination, and he takes it.
Sadie, his duo partner, they're battling it out for the low ground. It's duo versus duo down below, but that just opens up more chances for the high ground duo as they continue to rain down from above. Bullets ricocheting off the wood, creating chips on the ground as Joe now cracks his Sadie. Does not get the knock, but Fury looks back at the zone. 18 white, one more shot needed, and now this could just be the 2 versus 2 high ground versus low ground.
Toos is running low on HP, and I doubt Andy and Joe will give him much time. Fury is in the zone, trying to heal off, and they are aware of it now, but they have the means to stay up for a bit longer. I don't know how much Fury is working with by the way of heals, but for them, they just need to keep waiting it out. He had a med mist. I'm not sure how much he has left in it, but for Fury, will it be enough? Will he hold on? There's too many seconds left, it seems. This might just be what Joe and Andy needed. They're going to continue to spray him out. They've spotted him in the zone, and it's only a matter of time now until we can crown them victorious. They've played so well in this game. They've held on to height when everybody was trying to take it from them, and they've stayed true. Fury still going though, still delaying that final celebration, but Joe and Andy are going to continue. They have a medkit for the off heal if needed, and now they will do it. Andy and Joe will be in the FNCS finals. A sign that boy.
Crucial for him to stay up here. He uses the grapple glove. He continues to rotate, being on that borderline. You cannot go down yet. In the meanwhile, though, we do have Gunbury on the high ground. He's taking it, he's dominating it, and he's holding it.
Bacon and Gunbury up above. This could be their game. They're not too far away from qualifying for top 6, and they also have high ground, which we know can be so effective for winning games. But HighChris and Vortex look like they're ramping up, look like they're going for it. And so Gunbury needs to wake up. He's been caught out. He's down on HP now. He needs to take a moment to breathe. But for HighChris and Vortex, they clearly have set their intentions.
And they got it. But the issue is no more materials to work with. HighChris is forced into a situation where he has to play aggressive. He has to get the elimination. But MrSavage and Hen capitalize on that. They take high ground, and they have what is needed to hold it.
This could be the perfect way to cap off what has been such a spectacular performance for MrSavage and Hen. They look like they'll hold on to first place, but to get the victory royale would be the cherry on top. For Comeback, it's all about staying alive, though. He is a solo. He has a grapple glove. He needs materials, though, and he needs to grapple his way on in. But if he's not careful, he's going to run into the first place team. He just needs to keep on hiding. They haven't noticed him yet, but he now will try and take the fight, force the issue, and he's got MrSavage low, and he's actually taking him out. Will Hen be able to avenge? He doesn't, and so Comeback goes down. Hen still is up. Gunbury and Bacon are still on high ground.
The high ground gets retaken once again. This is at least the 5th time this match. Is now Stormy right default down below, refarming. Only 2 builds to work with, but that could be what saves them, as Walks in 10th place still has a chance to get to that top 6, but they have to play it very well.
Stormy right default. The team in 7th, they are just outside. Everything rides on how they do in these next couple of minutes. They need to stay alive with so little materials. They are relying on a building to keep them in the game.
Reason was up as a solo, but he's so low on HP. Meanwhile, Gunbury, they still have that high ground. They need the victory royale, but 6th place spot, the cutoff, 136 points. It's default, it's Stormy right, and they're getting into the action, cracking their opponents, but they have to be careful. They want to get as much points as possible here.
Those eliminations could be so crucial. You can see they're running out of material, so it's going to be an essential. What would need to go absolutely ballistic if he had a chance of going in, and he won't. And so Devo and Stormy right will continue now to add to to their tally. Kidu and Yusri, they need a victory royale if they have any chance of qualifying.
But a duo that doesn't need the victory out. They just have to get to that top 2. They just need a few eliminations. It's default. It's Stormy right, and they continue their wrath below as they get ahead of zone here. They have an opportunity now. They have a choice. Do they battle out in the low ground? Do they maintain this position? Do they go for the high ground? So many options. Which one's the correct one?
Gumbry and Vacant. I don't think they'll be able to amass enough points with elimination. And so it might be everything riding on the victory royale for this team. And if that is the case, they need to hold on. They can't afford to lose their minds, lose their heads. For default, and Stormy right now, 139 points is keeping them in. And a big shot for default actually keeps them alive. He wants one onto Fork though, and eventually will fall. Stormy right, the med miss is running out. You're gonna have to start running into zone, buddy. You can't afford to tank the HP. You have to hit a big shot. Will you be able to connect though? Knocking on the door, and eventually will fall down.
6th place spot. We'll see if he's able to hold it, but for a duo that needs the victory royale, it's both of these duo. They are out of the qualifying range. They need to win this match. The high ground versus the low ground. Gunfree up above, taking shots, finding angles, but it's all about securing the victory royale.
Yusri and Kidu, our team, has had their struggles all throughout the 2 days we've seen so far, but if they can close things out on a victory royale, that would not just be a shock to themselves, but a shock to the entire world. What can Yusri and Kidu do? You can see they're looking up. They're going for the mantle plays. They want to try and get the edit, and they're going to get it with a big shot. Gunfree will fall. Can make an event teammate. He cannot. Kidu and Yusri will qualify in the final game. They were nowhere near the top 6, but they...
Take a look, my friends. Only a 4-point difference there, separating 6th and 7th.
Stormy right and default in the final game clutched over. If we saw that last moment, it was between them and it was between